So, do your Easter bunnies have posh accents, or is that just a stereotype?
I don't know. I've never spoken to one. What the fuck? Are they supposed to have a posh accent?
Everything I've seen, everything over there has a posh accent.
Okay, let's get into this shit then. Let's go. Ah! I dropped my ball. Right. I dropped it again.
What the fuck? Just start the episode.
On my nan's grave. Welcome to Slash the Pond, where we're going to debate Easter. Apparently, I don't have the fucking mental capacity for this. But go on. What were you saying about Easter bunnies having accents?
Well, all right. So we have a lot to do with the Easter Bunny. You guys are a little more lamb eccentric. Is that true?
What? Lamb?
Lamb as the mascot of Easter.
Are we?
Do you?
I don't know. We have Easter bunnies.
Yeah, but I mean, the big part, the symbol in the UK is the lamb is more popular symbol of Easter than the Easter Bunny, according to Google.
I had no
so
idea.
I'm asking you, you are supposed to know.
And this is the first I heard of this. As far as I was aware of the Easter bunny, what's the fucking lamb got to do with anything? What the fuck is the? Hang on, what the fuck is the Easter lamb?
The
Easter lamb.
Well, it's a very religious. Oh my god, it's a religious. It's more religion based. The Lamb of God.
Boring bullshit.
Well,
or Easter, or is it Easter rabbit?
It's Easter.
All right. So among the popular Easter symbols, the lamb is by far the most significant of this great feast. The lamb is said to symbolize Jesus, as it embodies purity and goodness, but also represents sacrifice.
I shouldn't know more about this than you.
Why would I? I'm an atheist. Why would I give a shit about this made up bollocks?
Well, it's going to be Easter soon. What are you going to do for Easter?
Eat chocolate.
What are we going to do for Easter?
What do you do at Christmas? Do you fucking celebrate the baby Jesus, or do you open presents?
More so the presents.
But... Exactly. And the presents has fuck all to do with Jesus. Wasn't even born on Christmas Day. It's all lies, bollocks. It's not true at all. Wasn't even born in Easter either, I don't think. No one knows the birthday of this prick, but...
Oh my god. You really are unaware. Are you? You are unaware.
Of what?
What Easter, the symbolization of Easter. It's Good Friday, Holy Saturday, Easter Sunday.
Fuck it up Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
And then back to normality Monday.
And then Easter Monday.
Yes.
Okay. So all right, so Christmas is the birth of the baby Jesus.
Which isn't true, but carry on.
We're not debating religion. I'm telling you.
No, but it's not.
Religion.
It's not the birth date of Jesus. Jesus was not born in December,
and he dies on Sunday, Good Friday. He dies on Good Friday and rises on.
It doesn't make sense because the Good Friday changes date every single year. Sometimes we have it in March. Other times we have it in April.
Well, for everybody, yeah. Okay.
There you go. So when did he fucking die then?
You celebrate Easter on the first Sunday after the first full moon, following the first day of spring, which could be any Sunday between March 22nd and April 25th. In the U.S., Easter is celebrated on the first Sunday after the Paschal full moon, which is the first full moon on or after the spring equinox, which always falls between March 22nd and April 20th. Why is that different? There is no difference. It's still a full moon. I just want my chocolate eggs and
exactly
with the cream inside.
So here's a question for you though. On the topic of Jesus and someone
my life's been a lie,
claiming to be a virgin, even though she was obviously a chronic whore. But So we have obviously BC and AD, right?
Yes.
BC, I guess, before Christ, AD after death.
Yeah.
So the period of when he's born to when he dies, what years is that? Is that AC? No, sorry,
Well,
BC or AD?
it's only 33 years.
Yes, but where do they
It's a
count? What are they?
small
Those
period of
33 years,
time.
what are they? Are they BC or are they AD?
I don't know.
This is all horseshit.
Why don't you
It's
ask
total
Google?
horseshit. Build that wall, right?
Out. Why don't you ask Google? Because that's what we seem to do when we don't know anything.
which is all the time. To be fair, I did have this debate with my family over the Christmas period. We were talking about this very topic because none
In
of us actually
between
know.
rum and Diet Cokes.
Yes, it was alcohol fueled conversation. Yeah, but everyone disagrees with it, and that no one knows because no one was there. And the chances
It's all
are,
word of mouth.
yeah, the chances are this little fuckwit that apparently walked on water never existed. You know, it's quite likely that it's just a story. Like, imagine people have made up fucking Lord of the Rings, right? Let's fast forward 2,000 years. You know, if there was some sort of, I don't know, technology breakdown which prevents knowledge from being transferred as easy as it is for us right now, what's the chances that someone thinks the fucking Sauron was real? You know, and there's this massive all-out fucking war for the One Ring. It's entirely possible that could become a new religion, the religion of fucking Mordor.
Well, people make up their own religions as they go along. So
this is the funny thing
it's
when it
fine.
comes to gods, right? And this is Ricky Gervais says this, and I completely agree with him. People moan at him for being atheist, saying, "How can you not believe in a god?" And the counter to that is
My eye
for
is
people
twitching.
that the counter to that is for people that do believe in a god. You know, for example, if you believe in a god, you don't believe in 999 other gods. You only believe in your one god. But according to history and text, there are many, many gods. Look at the Greek gods, fucking loads of them, right? But if you are, say, a Christian, you don't believe in the Greek gods, you think they do not exist because it's not your god. Now, an atheist only doesn't believe in one extra god.
So I can tell you this is how people have their politically correct answer to this is I'm not religious, I'm spiritual.
Yeah.
Where they can just get away with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do believe that there was somebody that they had named Jesus that was born. I do believe there was someone named Buddha that was born. I believe in all the different gods that were put up on that pedestal or as human beings and put up on a pedestal, and they were seen as very very open thinkers and was in touch with themselves so much that they were able to um, do miracles by using their mind. Okay, I do believe that. I do believe. Why are you looking at me like, oh my god? You know, like Star Wars and Luke Skywalker and using the Force. It's kind of like that. It's the same. It's the same concept. Where if you
Which
are
is
to
science fucking fiction. You're gonna make me shit myself.
and so, but the thing is, like manifesting. Think of manifesting. Think about you you will things towards you, right? If you are in a certain mindset, your body is made out of all these atoms and you are an electrical water filled being. Yes, could we agree on that?
Sure, yeah, why not? Yeah.
Okay.
Continue.
And as you and you can change the molecular structure of you inside to become a magnet for certain things. There is an amazing Japanese artist, I believe he's Japanese, who does so much water. He does water art. Um, that he freezes water, and what he would do with the water is he would uh, play very heavy metal like very hard, angry music, and then freeze it. And then he would take music, he would take water, a separate thing of water from the same source, and he would put very soothing music to it, and then freeze that, and then look at the water molecules under a microscope. And the one with the very negative, harsh, loud, uh, feedback that he got that was injected into the water looked ugly and distorted. However, the very soothing, calm, orchestral, angelic like music, that water, those water molecules looked beautiful and well formed. And so because of that, I do believe that there were people out there that were able to do this, that they were so in touch with themselves and was able to block out all the negative noise and manifest these things, that you too, believe it or not, if you wanted to, be able to heal yourself, if you were able to get to that molecular level within yourself.
Right.
So we are all, it comes from like the God made us in his image, right? Yes, a lot of it's bollocks. I get that. A lot of it has to do with people making up pieces of the story, right? To make it a little more believable. It was passed down word of mouth, playing the telephone game. I get that. But there is really deep into those stories at the base level. There is some truth in that there really must have been some kid that they named Jesus, and that there really was somebody named Buddha,
Okay.
and
But again, same question. If you were to fast forward another 2,000 years and someone stumbles across, Lord of the Rings written by Tolkien, and let's just pretend in 2,000 years in the future, there's no evidence that this was made into a film or whatever, that didn't make it into 2,000 years, right? It's just someone comes across an old copy of the book. What if someone starts to claim like, oh, this is, this Dark Lord here, this was an evil thing, it was real, this happened,
mm-hmm.
and then people start believing that story? How do you draw a
and
line between the fiction that we
mhm.
create, these fake universes, these fake storytelling, compared to religion? How do you know religion's not
but it
fake?
but it all comes from somewhere.
Does it?
Yeah, you didn't just create that, you didn't
Why
just
not?
make that up.
But
That came from
that's it.
something. The thought process came from somewhere.
So
It
did Game
came
of
from
Thrones,
something, right? No,
but
I
that's
get
all
that.
made up. So what's the difference?
It's not all made up though,
How do you know?
because Game of Thrones has to do with kings and queens, does it not? You
And
didn't just make
dragons is
up
fantasy.
kings and queens. Dragons, dinosaurs, very similar. Like, there's no guarantee that that wasn't ever a real thing. Maybe someone saw a dinosaur and called it a dragon.
Okay, so obviously dinosaurs. Do you agree dinosaurs came before us? They roamed this world long before we did. Do you believe
Okay,
that?
yeah,
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 yeah.
sure.
Okay, so God apparently made us in His image, but this planet has been round for billions of years, and there was completely different life on this planet before we came along. So, what was God doing? He created things initially, put dinosaurs on the planet, and thought, "Oh, that'll do," and then looked away for a bit and had another look. It's like, "Oh fuck, they're extinct. Let's do it again." But this time, I'm going to create some life based on my image, and then do a fuck ton of other life as well that's not based on my image, but
But
similar enough.
but we're talking about image in two different respects. We're talking about inner thought and inner, like, your inner workings. If you look at an animal, they have inner thought, they have a soul. They have feelings. They can think and make decisions and have free will in their own way. dinosaurs had their own free will in their own way. So who's not to say that the dinosaurs would be in God's image versus, a human being versus a slug versus my dog?
It's a bit of a stretch, don't you think?
I don't know how much of a stretch it is, but I do think that that is a real thing. And by the way, it was Dr. Emoto who did the water experiment involving the exposes of water to different words, pictures, music, freezing it, and then examining the ice crystals under a microscope. So that's what I was referring to earlier.
Okay.
But I had a book of all of his pictures of, it'd be a picture he would put on the bottle of water. He would write words on the bottle of water. So I think and I believe that at the end of the day, we too, since we are made up of so much water, and because the earth or the planet is made up of what, 70-80% water,
Something like
that
that, yep.
if you can affect water like that, then why couldn't you be a god yourself? Whether it be for good or bad, you can make things happen. If you wanted to, if you really, really tried hard enough, you would be able to make an Easter basket show up on your table on Easter Sunday with my name on it. Just saying.
And yet no one has been able to achieve this. Funny that, isn't
Not,
it? It's
not,
almost as if it is bullshit.
That's not true.
Give me an example of when it has been achieved, where someone
That
has been able to
people
manifest something that doesn't exist.
Are you kidding? That's where most of the self-help books come from. Like what is it? Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins, even somebody as crazy or unrespected as Joel Osteen can be. Like, these are all people who believe that they were able to manifest a decent life for themselves. All the people that live in a
but that's
decent
not
life, you
manifesting
have done
something
that for
physically.
yourself.
That's mental. It's completely different. I'm not
mental
capable,
becomes physical.
But I'm
the
not
mental
capable.
becomes
I want to
physical at the end
manifest
of the day.
I want to manifest a basket of fucking money right in front of me right now. Why can't I do it? It's not there. What the fuck is it? Can anyone in existence do that?
It's not so instant. If you really thought about it, I swear to God, if you really thought about it, and this has worked for me in times in my life, that I was able to, I really, really thought about having money come to my door. That I would have a certain amount of cash in my pocket, or because I really wanted to, hell, this trip. All right, full circle for Easter Sunday. Where am I going to be?
In the UK.
I will be in the UK with you. Yeah? Right. What did I tell you I've always wanted to do since the time we've met? Like, I've always wanted to go over there. I wanted to travel more. I like my whole this whole thing, this whole podcast is something that I have wanted, that you have to physically work towards to get. Yes.
Yeah, you
But
work
if you
towards it.
don't, this door would have never opened. If I didn't sit in my car for 16 hours that day, and if it was just a regular 10-hour trip, we might have not gotten to the agreement of doing this.
Yeah, maybe, but that doesn't make us, deities. That's just, we have our own thoughts and things that we want to do. That's just life. We all do that.
But right, anybody can do that. It takes somebody special to be able to make it happen. If you look at the stories of Jesus from the time he was born to the time he was 33, he was a little shit when he was like 13 years old. There's like a story somewhere in the Bible where he like pushed someone off a roof to break his leg. Like he was your typical bratty little kid for a very long time. So, and he was very unliked, and he was just mean to other people. One of my own internal jokes was always, he had to push the kid off the roof so he could heal his leg to prove that he was God. Like, so you don't. It could be just you. I really do believe that anybody can do anything if they really put their mind to it and did the action behind it to get to that point.
It's a big difference, though, between doing stuff that's quite easy to achieve versus doing something that is impossible to achieve.
Who says anything is impossible? You just
Okay.
have to. You just have to, like. It is not impossible for you to become like. And we're not talking money here, so let's just
Okay, go
bring
and
up.
cure cancer for everyone then. Because a
Okay,
god would have that capability to
because
click their
yes,
fingers
yes,
and remove illness.
we put such pressure and such unrealistic expectations when it comes to that. And
Unrealistic on a
that
god
is where
who apparently
that
created us.
that
It's
is
mad. If there was a
where
god, they wouldn't allow kids to starve to death, to have diseases at a young age. There wouldn't be poverty. There wouldn't be parts of the world where it's just dire lifestyle. You know,
and you could be the person to fix that
I'm
and
not a
to
god.
change
I
that and help
cannot
that.
fix that. If he wants to
If
give
you
me his
made it a
power, I'd
mission of
happily.
yours, if you made it a mission of yours to do something like that, you could do that.
How the
You
fuck am I
can
supposed to fix that problem? How am I supposed to prevent kids from dying of cancer?
you would put yourself in a position in life that you would be able to get to the right people and put the right people in a room that would be able to do it.
Right. So, yes, there are things that we could do naturally to try and help solve the problem. But
Yes.
but the difference between humans and a god who apparently is almighty above it all, who created things, should be able to solve the problem with a click of their fingers. That's the difference. Such a being clearly does not exist. Because why would the world be the way that it is? Why would there be so much hate in the world, so much war, so much death, so much disease? If there was a greater being that could just solve all that problem, why torture us? Why have so many of us go through absolute hell?
I think we all have to go through some kind of hell to get to be grateful and appreciative of when we do get things.
And what about those that don't get to have those things when their life is cut short because someone decided to drive a bus or a truck down New Orleans? Where was God then, preventing that? If you were God, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you prevent that from happening? Wouldn't you step in and go, nope, fuck off. You ain't doing that. These are my people. I'm going to look after my people. Gets you thinking, doesn't it? It gets you
Well,
thinking.
now I see where you're coming from. I completely do, and I would like to think that there is something better out there, like that we could be able to do things like that if we really tried and hard enough.
Yeah, there is obviously things that we can do.
I'm
There's a
also
lot
not
that we
living
can
my
do.
head. I'm also not living my head in the sand. I'm not burying my head in the sand thinking, oh, well, this stuff isn't happening. I know these things are happening, and I know that there are horrible people in the world, and self-preservation is not putting ourselves in those situations. I mean, look at Mother Teresa. Apparently, Mother Teresa would work with lepers. Like, that was a big thing that she used to do. Lepers, the people that were so highly contagious, and she worked with them, put her hands on them, and like let them touch her, and she never got leprosy. That's a real person. She was able to give to a group of unfortunate people some form of compassion and love before they died, and she was protected from that.
So which religion has it all wrong then? Because there's lots of religions, and
Yeah.
quite a lot of them disagree with each other in terms of what happened and who their gods are. So which ones are true and which ones are not true?
I think they all are so similar at the core. I really do think that they are so similar. Like they all Christians have 10 commandments, and the Bible, and Jews have the Kabbalah, which is a whole bunch of written things that all fundamentally come down to be a good person.
Yes, but the stories behind it all of what apparently
Right.
happened, they disagree with each other. The names of the gods are different. The
Mm-hmm.
stories and the things that took place that have resulted in, these texts, they're different. They disagree. The history in these religions are different. They can't all be true, right? That's impossible.
Well,
They
that doesn't mean
contradict.
that there can't be, but it's the same thing with science fiction. They're stories. That's what they
Yes.
are. They're all stories where there is a hint of truth in there, and everything else is just peppered in to make it entertaining for
Right. So the
people to
Bible
want
then
to read.
has a
Yeah.
hint of truth, but the
Yeah.
majority of it is false and entertainment.
I think so. I don't,
Okay.
you can't do the whole like, oh, 50%, like the majority is wrong. But I think that there is a portion that got it wrong. I think, how could they not? Like back then, they didn't have pen and paper, they didn't have little recording devices. It was this person from this town talked about something that they saw, talked to their neighbor who talked to someone from a traveling person, and the story changes. And by the time they actually sat down and wrote it all, that, it's a totally different story. It's a game of
Yeah,
telephone.
it's all bullshit. And that's the thing. When you look at science, science disproves the majority of things in any sort of religion. And if you were to throw every religious book in a fire, I know it's blasphemy, but fuck it, it'd be fun. Throw them all in the fire, and then also throw every science book in the fire, so nothing exists. In
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of years, the religious stuff would not get recreated the way that it was. It would
No,
never come back the way that it was. But the science books would, because the
eventually, yeah.
science is the same. The same test would take place and the same results would be found. And there's all sorts of stuff. There's all sorts of things that, back in the day, before we had the science to prove otherwise, we used to have things that we could not explain. So our default, when there's something that we cannot explain, is go, oh, God created it. This is what God did.
Mm-hmm.
Until we become smarter, because something has then been proven to, or shown this is how it works. There's all sorts of things like that.
So are you Big Bang or string theory?
I think there was an explosion of some kind. I personally think
So Big
that,
Bang.
yeah, Big Bang, yeah, because I think in years to come, obviously everything will cease to exist, right? It would all go. Every star that we have will explode. We'll have black holes everywhere, and everything will get absorbed. And eventually, I believe that everything will end up in one massive big black hole. The strongest one will pull everything in. And once you have everything all put together, and it can't get any tighter, what's going to happen?
It's going to explode.
And everything starts over again.
Right.
I think the Big Bang is just the reset of everything.
So I I think you're very fun at parties. You got to be fun at parties, aren't you?
Oh, probably. What do you think?
Oh my god. So we went from the Easter bunny to the creation and the destroying the universe within 28 minutes. That's got to be a new record.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do.
So are you gonna have chocolate on Easter? Is that something you're gonna do?
Yeah, I'll probably have some chocolate. Yeah, why not? I tend to. I mean, we'll be together. We'll buy an Easter egg in a shop and devour it. Easy.
Okay. Sounds good. Did you get Easter baskets growing up
Not
as a
so
kid?
much for me. No, I do see that people do, but never much.
That was not your family, not your
Nah.
family thing.
Nah, we just had Easter eggs, and that was it.
For me, I got the actual basket and it came magically from the Easter Bunny. And so when I had kids, I wanted to do the same thing, even though they were too old to appreciate the magic of the idea and the story of some Easter bunny coming and dropping off a basket. I would still make them baskets. But majority of it wasn't just candy that was in there. It would be the beginning of spring for me. So they would get outdoor stuff. They would either get like kites to fly or a remote control car, things that they can use outside, sidewalk chalk when they were young, more spring outdoor fun stuff than just chocolate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Not very religious anymore. I grew up very religious.
I think the last 20, 25 minutes might say otherwise, to be honest. But yes,
I mean, when you're Catholic, it gets beaten into you, but yeah.
Yes. I would say that I'm not very religious, considering my stance on things. But yeah, for me, it's simple. I believe what I see.
Yeah.
And if there is a God and they want me to believe in them, then just fucking stop giving kids malaria and come and say hello to me for a bit. So can have a conversation. Easy. But instead, they remain hidden constantly and just torturing people in, third party worlds.
Right.
What a great bastard. Like animal cruelty as well. How could you allow that? As a god, how could you allow animal cruelty? If I was a god, I would blow anybody's brains out that harms any sort of animal. If I see you kick a dog, I'm going to shoot the shit out of you. I'm going to fucking smite you. I'll come down and I will obliterate your existence from this planet. Because why? Why would you allow any person to harm an animal? It's cruel. It's unnecessary. But yet that exists. There's so much animal cruelty in the world. What sort of a god allows that? What a cunt. And that's that. That's where we can end things. Oh dear. Well, if you're going to piss off anyone who's religious, you may as well piss off every single religion all at once. None of it's safe.
Well, nothing's safe in our podcast. So
no, and that's the thing. We're gonna call out everything.
Yes.
We don't
good,
discriminate.
Bad, and different.
Yeah.
The Chinese. All right. Well, thank you for.
Arigato.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I want to know how you celebrate Easter. You know what? If you're going to talk religion down in the comments,
may as well.
Feel free.
We've opened the floodgates.
Free. Yeah.
Noah's Ark is sailing.
All right. So thank you again very much. Join our Patreon because this conversation, I have a feeling, is going to continue at some point. So, and we won't be as kind and respectful.
Yeah. If you think this is wild, just wait till you see the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. All right. So thank you very much. And I will talk to you guys very, very soon. It's Dwayne from America. And you are?
The one and only God.
Bye.